Hello, welcome back to Masterful Divine Feminine 333. I am Miss Divine and I am so happy you are here. So, this reading is going to be a pick a card reading, your twin flame messages, your twin flame hidden messages. So, any hidden messages that your twin flame may have for you, some additional advice, some hidden messages to guide you along your twin flame journey. If some of you are new to the channel, please do check out the playlist Twin Flame Journey. That playlist has great insight on what the twin flame journey is and helping you master the art of surrender. For those of you that are familiar with pick a card, usually it's 3 cards laid out, but I did want to shuffle the cards to see what energy came out. I'm going to have you pick a card. So you're going to pick either 1, 2, or 3. Trust your intuition when it comes to picking that number 1, 2, or 3. So whichever number resonated with you the most, that will be the card that you pick. I was guided to use the Elemental Empath deck, so some beautiful messages in there. So we'll see what comes out. So I came across this definition of a twin flame on One Divine Love on Instagram. Your twin flame isn't just a soulmate, they are your divine complement. You were created from the same soul blueprint and you share one consciousness. They were perfectly designed for you, and you have an internal connection that can never be broken. They are your spiritual teacher, best friend, and ultimate lover, all in one. The journey isn't just about romance, it's an ascension path. It's about deep healing, spiritual ascension, and aligning with unconditional love. Your twin flame connection helps you grow into your highest self. The journey is a path back home to love, to God, your divine self, and ultimately your twin flame. You and your twin flame share one consciousness. They were created perfectly as your divine mirror so they can reflect your best qualities, but also your deepest wounds, fears, and limiting beliefs. This allows you to clearly see where you are out of alignment with love and your divine truth. Your twin flame is your ascension partner, and when they shine a light on your deepest wounds, limiting beliefs, and unhealed traumas, it can feel uncomfortable to say the least, as it brings up emotions you haven't faced before. They also love your authentic self unconditionally. They will support your growth and you becoming the best version of yourself. The connection is rooted in unconditional love. Some of you may wonder, like, is this actually just a toxic relationship, or people around you, like friends, may say that the relationship is just toxic? I am picking up heavily that I'm reading for a lot of divine masculines right now who are very aware of their twin flame journey, and you're looking for guidance. You may be in separation with your divine feminine and you're here, you're looking for guidance. You want to surrender to the connection, you want to come into union with the connection. And divine masculines, you may be too much in your divine masculine energy for some of you, and you would like to embrace your divine feminine energy. So welcome to your channel. This is a safe space and I am so happy that you are here. It is not a toxic relationship. Unlike other relationships where conflicts might result in wedges or the relationship chipping away, conflicts with your twin flame lead to deeper understanding and love. You and your twin flame love each other unconditionally at the core. You are partners on your ascension path, and the mirroring effect provides a profound opportunity to heal and grow. So I think for those masculines that are watching, your feminine may have disconnected from you in ways that you're not used to. And that's why you're here. You want to see maybe what's going on with them. What are some hidden messages? So definitely, for those of you watching, think about your number 1, 2, or 3. Is this twin flame journey ultimately worth it? Yes, this is a journey of self love and becoming the best version of you. In fact, loving yourself is what attracts your twin flame. Releasing fears and aligning with love allows you to live in harmony with your authentic self and live your best life. Your twin flame is magnetized to you when you are true divine self. Your twin flame meets all of your needs: spiritual, emotional, physical, romantic, and sexual. Since you and your twin flame make the same core choices together, if you are waiting for divine timing or waiting for your twin flame to do anything, they are making the same choice to wait. You have the power to heal your union by taking the journey to heal where you are separate from love within your own consciousness. So that was just a brief overview of twin flames. If any of that resonate with you, please be sure to stick around, hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment in the description box. Feel free, I'm sorry, leave a comment. Let me know where you are in your twin flame journey, but you can check my description box as well for links to my website where we can have a more personal conversation. So we're now going to get 3 cards and begin to unveil what the I'm going to shuffle the cards because some of you saw it. What the hidden messages are, right? Number 1, number 2, and number 3. So again, trust your intuition. That number that came to your head first um, is more than likely the number you want to go with. If you're feeling called to switch that number, some of you 1 or 3, 3 or 1. Some of you that were strongly called to 2, I encourage you to stay with it, but ultimately take a moment to pause and choose. And so we will begin. I like to begin with number 2. So for those of you that are choosing number 2, it will be this middle card. For those of you that chose 1, and then for those of you that chose number 3, it's your card over here to the right. So 1, 2, and 3. I like to begin with the middle card. Let's see what we have. Choice. Number 2, choice. The number 2 card is, in fact, the number 2 card. So that is extreme divine alignment. And I think that's beautiful for those of you that chose number 2. For those of you watching, if you're a divine masculine watching to see what's going on with your divine feminine, I am getting that they are choosing a life direction that is in their highest favor. So for a long time, your feminine wanted nothing more to be with you, and they very much still would love an opportunity to be with you, but they are tired of sacrificing and not living to their highest and fullest potential while you masculines continue to awaken to your connection with your divine feminine. Again, please, switch the roles as it resonates. So divine feminines that are watching, this can definitely be your divine masculine. I also want to mention that I channel for twin flames who are in a same-sex relationship. So take it as it resonates and leave it if it doesn't, honey. Yes. Your divine feminine, before we get into the book, has been embracing the the stages of this journey, and at times she may feel incomplete without you, but ultimately when they are choosing themselves, when she or he is choosing themselves, they are feeling the most whole. So it doesn't mean that they don't love you, they don't want to be with you, they don't desire you. It is more so that they are choosing to be whole and complete within themselves. And that may mean choosing another path that does not align with being you, um, romantically. So let's read the book and see what, the messages are from the elemental empath for card number 2. The choice we make largely determine the type of life we live and the overall direction we go. What we choose has consequences, and we must live with those outcomes. We need to find a balance between these two truths. The choices we make both matter a great deal and not at all. They matter in that they set us on certain paths. They also don't matter in that we can't possibly know all of the outcomes of what the future will hold. So, fretting over every little decision doesn't help us. The key to making choices is to make them from a centered place, however that feels for you. Are you someone who chooses based on emotions, logic, or intuitive signs? If your usual method is failing you, it might be time to meditate and find a place of stillness, or ask yourself for outside help to find clarity. In the end, it must feel right for you. If you don't fully trust your emotions, you might try weighing the pros and cons. Once you've made your choice, your intuition might confirm it as right or wrong. If your thoughts are a mess, try leaning into your emotions and see what your heart wants. If the mind and heart are unsure, what does your intuition say? Is there a sense of knowing about which way you intuitively know you should go? You may also consult friends or family if all these are unclear. Then it's okay to close your eyes and randomly make a choice and see how it unfolds. So, for those of you divine masculines watching for your divine feminine, but again, this is hidden messages for anyone in the twin flame journey, but I am picking up strongly masculine watching for their feminine. Your feminine has always been and will always be intuitive and out and use your intuition in beautiful ways, but not with discernment. And many of their actions towards you in the past could have been so emotionally driven and not balanced and not really making a decision, the best choice, as we can say, based on the card. And so what they're doing now is the moments of uncertainty where they may want to text you, they may want to call you, they may want to express a lot more towards you, they're taking a minute to be still, right? One, they're taking a minute to remember the journey that they're on, as we've discussed in the beginning, and how its purpose is for them to heal, right? Past wounds. So when it comes to wanting to communicate certain things with you, you may see that they're not choosing to do so, or they're not doing so as they used to, because they've truly released the emotional reaction. Like if in the past they would think about you, they would miss you, they'll just tell you that. They'll keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but they're no longer feeling whole in continuing in that behavior. So they're more aligned with themselves. So that means meditating, being still, and making a decision based on balance, intuitive guidance. So, some more hidden messages of what's going on with your counterpart in your twin flame journey. If you pick number 2, this card, there may be some overthinking. So, in as much as they are not putting that energy on you, it certainly doesn't mean that they aren't overthinking. I'm pausing because one, I need a moment sometimes, and I'm also drinking a lot of water. So, depending on where you are located, you may be experiencing winter. So, I live in New York. It's been extremely cold and I have been extremely dehydrated. But personally, there's been moments where I find myself also overthinking. And so, for those of you that have been extra dehydrated, maybe because of the season or maybe because of like a blocked throat chakra, then number two should definitely resonate with you. Also, there's another reading on my channel for I think it's In Depth Collective Part 2. There was a lot of blocked throat chakra energy in that reading. So, if you are looking for ways to release your blocked throat chakra, I also recommend you check out that In Depth Collective Reading Part 2. We also actually use the same deck, which is one of my newer decks. So, okay. For those of you masculines who are familiar with your feminines, you may think or know that they talk a lot and they can keep going, but that's definitely one of the things that you love and admire about them. So let's get back to overthinking. This card also cautions you again getting this card also cautions you against getting lost in your head and overthinking signs from the universe. Meditate and find a centered, grounded space from which to make the decision. Overthinking doesn't help. Overthinking doesn't help anyone in the twin flame journey. Even those of you that are watching right now, take these messages and deeply reflect on them, but do not overthink or hold on to the outcome of your connection, right? Remember, it's about self love. Remember that there aren't any wrong choices, they are merely the outcomes and consequences of these choices. The choices we make lead us on paths that teach us about life and ourselves. You are allowed to make mistakes. You never know where they might lead you. So at this point, one of the hidden messages from your counterpart is that they are deeply reflecting and even possibly overthinking on some of the mistakes, some of the things that they've said to you that they wish they didn't. But at the same time, they're understanding that it's a cliche, but it happened for a reason, and they are continuously alchemizing and putting it into the perspective of, well, what was this supposed to teach me? What did I learn from this? But then they're also like taking breaks because stillness is also extremely essential for growth. Choosing how you feel. Lastly, this card addresses the concept of choosing how you feel. Our emotions are not rational. While there are things we can do to encourage certain emotional states, we can't outright choose what we feel at any given time. When we are upset or triggered, we cannot just choose for that emotion to vanish. So it's often like when you're going through separation in your twin flame journey and people kind of like, or just anything in life that is plaguing you, and they're like, oh well, you'll get over it, or this too shall pass, so they say just choose to be happy, and I'm guilty of saying that, telling people to just choose to be happy, just choose to focus on positive vibrations. But there's so much more work that goes into that to get to that point, right? It's not as easy as saying just choose to be. And that's where you want to be, and that is where your focus should be. But there are definitely a lot more intricate steps to get there. When we upset or triggered, we cannot just choose for that emotion to vanish, right? So how are we working through it? What do we need to understand? How do we need to release this blockage? And that's where I find Reiki and guided meditations to be extremely effective in releasing those blockages. We can set it aside, repress it, or feel it through until it shifts into something else. But that emotion is there for a reason. So for some of you, your feminine may have been feeling a lot of nostalgia towards you recently, and sadness, and possibly even some fears of rejection. I was picking up over the weekend a lot of sacral chakra um, blockages. So many of your feminines may have been feeling some fear of rejection, vice versa. Your masculines could have been feeling fear of rejections. And I posted out on the as a community post ways to help remove that blockages. Work with your emotions and encourage them to be felt or to calm down and be dealt with another time. Your emotions are valid. Don't shame yourself for not being able to simply choose to be happy. Emotions are there for a reason. Instead, focus on the choice that you do have, which is the choice of how to respond. Sometimes your emotions and thoughts are too overwhelming to give you the space for this choice, but eventually there is always a space, maybe after the storm has calmed for a bit, for choosing how you will respond to what is coming up. Inviting in alternative perspectives and self acceptance and holding a safe space for yourself as you navigate these emotions, and holding a safe space for yourself instead of shame, self loathing, and spiraling in the trigger is the choice laid before you. When the space opens, invite in an alternative. So, for many masculines watching here for the hitting messages of your feminines, when they were in this self loathing space, they will spiral. And when they spiral, they would react. And so, what they're doing now is making that choice to feel the emotion, maybe suppress it if they feel that's what they need to do for a moment in time, while at the same time, when they are ready, allowing the space to move through the emotion. They're managing their emotions a lot more effectively than they have. And so maybe some of you are like, well, what's going on? Right? Why haven't they reached out? Some of you feminists like, why hasn't your masculine reached out? What are they doing? Are they moving on? Well, everyone is healing. Everyone is simply healing. And it's not a simple journey, but that's what's happening. And that is the ultimate goal and purpose of, I think, life in general, and especially for those of you on this twin flame connection. Once block once block for this card is overthinking, right? So overthinking, we some of your counterparts could be overthinking. If you are spiraling in what choice to make, it's time to get grounded, connect with yourself, and give yourself permission to make the choice. So play with different ways of making decisions to better get to know yourself and how you operate. When you need to make a choice, try making the same choice in 3 different ways. So it was emotionally, logically, and I can't remember the other one. Let's see if we find it quickly. Or intuitively. So emotionally, logically, intuitively. So you're masculine. I said it. The energy is going back and forth. So again, you could be a masculine watching for your feminine, feminine watching for your masculine. Either way, twin flame messages, hidden messages from your counterpart, right? So let's just say counterpart going forward. I will try my best. Your counterpart, because I really wanted to say masculine. Your masculine is also like making different decisions, right? So when it comes to with past connections, they are experimenting how to maybe sever the ties, how to fix the relationship, and they're approaching it from different ways. So emotionally, intuitively, and logically. So they are on a major timeout right now from you as they navigate what works best for them, what is in their true authentic nature. Wow. Try making the same choice in 3 different ways, right? So emotionally, logically, and intuitively. First, meditate and tap into your intuition to see which direction you feel pulled. Next, get into your body and emotionally feel which choice you want to go with. And lastly, rationally, write out pros and cons for each choice to see which logic dictates. This is a process of learning about yourself that will take time to hone. So take your time and have fun with it. When making choices you really struggle with, spend some time learning to ground and come out of your head. So the hidden messages for those of you that picked number two, as a quick wrap up, is that your counterpart is learning themselves again in a more grounded way as they make better choices for themselves, holistic choices, right? Choices that are aligned with their highest selves. So, number two. So, for those of you that picked card number two, I sure hope that you enjoyed that message. We will go to card number one. Okay. All right. Balance. All is connected. Balance extremes, inner and outer. So this is the cosmos. Just want to double check what energy uh what card was it? Choice was. Some of you may resonate with that sign. Let me just, I'll get that for you quickly. With the spiral, which I love because it's the year of the snake. So, air sign. You could be an air sign or dealing with an air sign. So, look up year of the snake. Cosmos is everything. All the signs, all of the signs. So we have balance. For Cosmos, I am getting strongly though that some of you are a Leo or dealing with a Leo. Something significant may happen in Leo season. Also, check out angel number 222. For those of you that chose number one, and if others of you that didn't choose number one are still here, also check out angel number 222. Yin Yang is on this card, so the balance of light and darkness. So why balance? Why were you guided to choose number one? Let's see what the hidden twin flame message is for you. The balance card pulls everything together. Balance is woven into every single card of this deck and is an important underlying concept through every card. With everything we learn and do, there needs to be balance. Taken to an extreme, anything, even a good thing, can become toxic. Something that your feminines have learned. Oh, shit, the both of you, right? You've both learned like masculines with maybe partying a lot or engaging in behaviors that weren't in their highest goods, and then the ghosting, the blocking, and then feminines, the overgiving, the overloving. It was too much. And it got a little toxic, right? Or felt that way. The desire for enlightenment can lead to extreme denial and suppression of your humanity. Self-reflection taken to an extreme can lead to having no foundation of self. Self-reflection taken to an extreme can lead to having no foundation of self. Taking on every opinion and criticism of others. A commitment to always go with the flow can lead you to become a wishy-washy person who has no respect or regard for the time of others, right? So there's this balance between self-reflection of continuously taking on criticism, reevaluating, realigning, but then at the same time being to heck with that, I'm going to go with the flow. Now you're just like wishy-washy. So what's the balance between the two? Some empowerment practices can morph into spiritual narcissism, leading you to think that you are you are not, basically you can't be faulted for anything, and everyone else is just projecting their issues onto you. So I've seen this a lot in masculine energy. I'm gonna have to call you out on this. I apologize, but I think this is a hidden message for you. So sometimes you get so involved in your spiritual narcissism, like you're woke, and this is ego, right? This is ego in your spirituality. Now you no longer take responsibility for what you're attracting. And when people come to you, you're like, it's just them projecting their issues onto you, when really it's just another mirror, right? So it's just another mirror of things that you you still need to work on, and you haven't fully balanced truly and authentically with your feminine energy. You kind of may get a little caught up in the propaganda of spirituality, to be honest with you, and then completely lose sight of the true essence of a divine feminine, because you get caught up in these 3D short bits on social media. I'm just saying. Let's continue reading. This card, at its essence, is about balancing the extremes, not with duality, which is black and white, but rather with a spectrum, which integrates the opposing forces into a whole. Take a look at the spectrum of a concept. See how you can be taken too far from one extreme to the other, right? So you go from like suppressing all this shit, being like, fuck it, I don't want to heal, I don't want to do anything, to then all of a sudden overnight becoming the master healer, and everyone else is simply just projecting on you, right? Kind of extreme, don't you think? Take a look at this the spectrum of a concept, seeing how it can be taken too far from one extreme to the other. These extremes will look different from person to person, depending on what kind of journey they are on. The pendulum will swing from one end to the other as we figure out what balance looks like for us. Also, keep in mind that your perception of balance may be off. If you are extremely considerate of others and won't lay down firm boundaries for fear of being mean, consider where you are on the spectrum. Your version of being extremely mean and rude might actually put you right on the balance of a kind person setting reasonable boundaries. So I think a lot of you have not been setting the right boundaries towards the people you ought to be setting the boundaries to. You could be setting more boundaries towards your feminine, and not the third parties and the low vibration energies that you ought to be um, setting boundaries with. So this is your hidden message, divine masculine. For those of you that resonate more with the divine feminine energy, there may also still be some boundary setting that you may need to implement. Your version of balance will look different from someone else's. This is true for both ends of the spectrum. Personalized balance. Find your own balance. It will also shift and change over time. Balance the masculine and feminine within you, the light and the dark, the happy and the sad, the structured and the flowy. So, not going from one extreme to the other, but similar with that choice card, like working through the emotions, understanding while being in a meditative state, which response will work best for me right now. I don't need to wake up one day and act as if all of my pains and my traumas and my fears and my desires for my counterpart have gone away. I can take that. I can put it to rest if I need to, but I don't need to go from one extreme to the other and not work through the emotions and understand them, because ultimately understanding that is what is going to help balance the feminine and the masculine energy within you. The light and the dark, the happy and the sad, the structured and the flowy, the earthy and the cosmic. So it's perfect that this is a cosmic card, right? Balancing all of the energies around you and within you. The mental and physical. The mental and physical, right? So being aligned. Some of you, like your sacral chakra could be so activated, and you can be so busy wanting to have pleasurable experiences with people that it's not mentally where you want to be. So this is where that boundary setting will come in. Just think about it. Just deliver of the messages. The inward journey and the outward. So, yeah, what's happening around you? it's not just people projecting their issues onto you, right? What's happening around you is also a manifestation of what's happening in you that we are avoiding and that we are not working through. And last but not least, the human and the divine, because masculines, you are a divine creation. And I think that you found this channel because you're so much more aware of your twin flame connection, and you do want to balance that inner masculine and rise to that divine feminine energy, the one that you know you're meant to have, so you can come into balance. Even if you're not ultimately choosing a romantic connection with your twin, you want to balance yourself, you want to heal yourself, right? You want to fix the relationships with your brother. I'm getting some of you, cousin Billy, Uncle Mike, all of that. The card also reminds you to find balance in the different areas of your life. Work, abuse. Some of you have experienced a lot of sexual abuse from your parent, and others of you may also be gay, homosexual, transgender, and not in a position where you can fully express that to your family. So I'm going to say this. So tarot and intuitive guidance is that it's guidance only. And if you are feeling the need to seek therapy or professional or legal advice, I recommend that you do that. With that being said, this is a safe space. This is a safe space to come as who you are. Know that you're not crazy. Know that this twin flame journey is not crazy. And together, we can work through the steps. We can work through the steps that will support you and guide you into reaching your full state of alignment. Speaking of alignment, we know I think about 7 planets are going to be aligned in the sky as of January 25th. So today's January 26th, so it's already happening. And again, if you are tuning in, that's just further confirmation of the fact that you are on the right path, even though it's such a challenge for you right now to balance and work through those past trauma, those past wounds. Know that that's why you met your twin flame. That's why you are having this experience this lifetime. That's why you met your feminine, so it to help you heal, and take as much support and guidance as you need. Like, love yourself and nurture for yourself and have compassion for yourself. And know that the journey of healing is going to be a forever journey. At any point, you need to just be still for a second and do something fun, or do something other than watching tarot or oracle or therapy sessions or Reiki or chakra balances. When you just need to kind of just be, it's still healing. It's still healing. Giving yourself a break, eating like some of your favorite foods, right? Like, I love curry chicken. Some of you may say chicken curry and pumpkin. Like, I love eating with my hands. So that's something that brought me like a lot of peace. Eating my favorite foods, or traveling, taking some solo trips, even if it's somewhere like local. Boundaries too. Boundaries were so critical when it came to developing my balance of both feminine and masculine, because both energies have to have boundaries. And putting up boundaries with everyone, my mother, my father, my sister, um, my the people that I love, in a more romantic, my twin, let's just say it. Right, so putting up strong boundaries. Yeah, taking time for rest. So let's get back into the reading. That was a lot for number 2. Wow. This card also reminds you to find balance in the different areas of your life: work, play, relationships, healing, etc. I think I just said all of that. uh, Allow them to fluctuate with the phases of your life, but also notice when one or more is getting out of balance with the others. Yeah, so it can be too much sometimes, like focusing too heavily on fixing one thing, and then we kind of lose balance of another. So just being aware, kind of just having a check-in with yourself. Where is your energy going? Where are you sending your energy? Think about where were your thoughts today, right? What are we thinking about when we wake up? What are we thinking about during the day? How are we spending our day? How are we spending our time? Where are your thoughts? Lastly, this card evokes the balance of karmic energies in the world. We are in a karmic balance of light and dark. Everything is interconnected. Suffering, pain, and misfortune occur because the darkness must manifest somewhere. It might not be us that is manifesting it, but a dance of our energy in tandem with the choices of others. The way nature is on the planet, past lives, soul contracts, ancestral patterns, or collective evolution. Darkness exists and finds a balance with the light. As we clear our karmic patterns, we can embody more light as a collective. So both both masculine and the feminine have karmic, and I think that a hidden message that is coming through for the divine feminines, masculines too, but I'm channeling more right now divine feminines, like your karmic baggage. So you may think that some of the connections that you have been holding on to, um, on one hand, was okay because it was helping you grow, but ultimately you got to a point where you knew that it was now just simply karmic baggage, and some of you may have released those connections, or be in the process of releasing those connections. One potential blockage for this card is simple. Are you lost in an extreme in any area of your life, or in a certain concept, and need to come back into balance? Oh yeah. So like with twin flame connections, you could get so lost in the twin flame connection. You can be so obsessed, so overconsumed with the twin flame connection. And really, it's about finding that balance with yourself and self love, and not what, when, and how, and the outcome of the connection and your counterpart, like continuously wanting to know what they're doing. And it's not that you're never not going to want to know where they are on the journey. It's about being intentional about where your energy is. How much of your energy is going towards your counterpart versus going towards yourself. Secondly, we often find ways to justify our actions by stating the morality of the cause or concept. So, like for those feminines who I was saying, like you may have had these connections that you know for sure, definitely karmic baggage now. You may try to justify those connections. Well, for one, at least they're here because your counterpart isn't, right? Not physically, at least. And then, you may have a great connection with this person and you love them, and in some ways they are healing, and you try to justify it. This can be good as long as we don't lose our humanity along the way. Shaming others for the way they live isn't the way. Yeah, so this is so important too, like with religious differences. Like I think when it comes to Christianity and Catholicism, it's almost sometimes made to believe that there's no other religion, right? Like Hinduism and other religions that do like acknowledge the concept of twin flame. So you may have people around you shaming you, especially close loved ones, who are like, you're crazy. There's no such thing as a twin flame. There's no such thing as a past life. There's no such thing as chakras. Like, and they deem all of this like witchcraft. And it's like, well, it's not. It's not. So yeah. Instead of instead try educating, inviting compassion, but to yourself, right? Educate yourself, learn more about the connection. That's what I did. I'm learning a lot more about Hinduism. I'm learning a lot more about things that are leading me, to a whole new level of alignment. So I recommend, you do that. You follow your path. 333, choose your path and follow your path. Instead, try educating, inviting compassion, and considering the reasons other people might be living the ways they do. So no judgment towards those that choose their path, believe what they believe, and live the way that they do. It's time to write. On a piece of paper, write out the areas of your life You can use your own criteria or go with personal, work, play, relationships, healing, and pleasure. Rate each section on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being full attention and satisfaction being given to this area, right? So write out, like the criterias, personal, relationships, work, and play. Those should suggested criterias. Rate them 1 to 10, 10 being full attention and satisfaction. So you can see where you are giving more extreme to one area than other areas. See how things are going and brainstorm how you can find more balance in the neglected areas, right? And I think that these gaps in the neglected areas is oftentimes where we see both counterparts avoiding. They get so focused on that area of work, they get so focused on play, they get so focused on pleasure, and they completely neglect areas which are critical to balance in both the divine and masculine energies. Next, write out some of your passions that you tend to get defensive about. This can be something like a cause, a characteristic of yours, or a spiritual concept. Ask yourself if you are open to an opposing point of view. Write out what might be and feel into the answer. Maybe being firm and immovable about this topic is what's needed. Maybe you need to soften and open up to other sides. So another hidden message is flexibility. Some feminines, both feminines and masculines, can be very rigid with their beliefs and with what they want for themselves. So a hidden message that's coming through is that both counterparts are learning to be more flexible. Write out your thoughts and feelings and see what comes through. That's it. Wow, that was a strong message for those of you that chose number 1, which is balance, which is also was on page 2. So for those of you that chose 1, you may also resonate with um, number 2. And the truth of the matter is, more than likely, you may all resonate with all 3 messages. It's just about one being like there was something very particular that needed to come through in the message that you chose, right? So I think if you chose number 2, it was to release the fear of your counterpart, especially if you're masculine, watching for a feminine, no longer wanting to be with you because they are not showing up for you the way that they used to. Your feminine is just healing. You're both healing and choosing to make decisions that are better aligned with their highest self. And then if you chose number 1, it could be for those of you that get so caught up in like the egotistical views of spirituality that you lose the true essence of what being a divine feminine and being a divine masculine is. I've heard some ridiculous things on social media. Like one thing about a man talking about a woman having her period, right? Like one of the most sacred experiences you can have as a woman is your menstrual flow. And the way he spoke about it was in such a negative way, like, you know, um, she needs me at that time. Like this is one of the most empowering times for a woman, or like specifically a woman in divine feminine energy. So yeah, some of these concepts that we come across online are just so far-fetched from what the true essence is. So I hope that if you listen to 1 and 2 up until this point, or the other, that you become more and more comfortable with the true essence of what it is to be a divine masculine, a divine feminine, and knowing that we have both energies within us, and how we can balance. So last but not least, number 3. Letting go. Letting go. Let's just try to like get that in the frame. I'm not great at this. It says letting go. I think it's water signs. Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Don't hold me to it. Oh, am I right? I hope I'm right. Yeah, it's water. So letting go, number 9. Again, that Leo season, Leo's coming out. very heavily. If Leo resonates with you in any way, please definitely drop that comment in the chat. Letting go, timing, forgive self and others, process emotions. So letting go. Okay. Number 121, check out angel number 121 if that number resonates with you. You may see 121 as a time. If you do, that's another reminder to look up the angel messages for 121. Okay, letting go. Letting go of what no longer serves you is a powerful way to heal and move forward. However, it's not always so easy. Let me just say this. Earlier when we were talking about, I think it came up in the number 2 card, like choosing positive thoughts. And I had mentioned like so many of us are guilty, right? Myself included, of just telling someone, choose to be happy, choose to heal. And it's like there's so many intricacies that need to happen before a person can align with that vibration. So let's continue. However, it's not always so easy to heal and move forward. Sometimes we let go with ease, and other times it's like pulling teeth, especially in your twin flame connection. It's like you're trying to separate yourself from yourself, you know? Like that that's painful, and sometimes it feels like you're going to, how do I say this? Like the pain is like you're killing yourself, like you're literally trying to take your own heart out of yourself at times when you're trying to disconnect and let go from your twin flame. This card gently ask you, is there something in your life that is ready to be let go? Only you know if the time is right. So for those of you watching that it's probably time to let go of some other soul connections, some behaviors. This is your message to reflect on that and know if the time is right. We often push ourselves to let go before we are ready. We cannot force it. It will just come back. Remember that you are allowed to feel how you feel. So very important messages for those of you on the counterpart connection. I'm sorry, on the twin flame journey with your counterpart involved with a karmic. I assure you, I do not like to give a lot of energies to karmic energy, but I would say that when if a masculine does see, don't want to talk about it, but it is important for a masculine to learn their karmic lesson. Let's just leave it at that. However long it may take. This can be about needing to forgive yourself and others, old beliefs, lifestyles, relationships, identities, etc. It is time to let go and move on, or are there still unresolved feelings asking you to be witnessed, right? Like your friends are like, leave it alone, don't call them, don't text them, like, but you are on this journey to heal. So when people are giving you that advice, they're literally cutting and getting in the way of your healing, right? And it again, letting go of the behavior towards your counterpart, right? Obsessive calling, texting, showing up, sending gifts, blah, 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 is very much different than letting go of the outcome and surrendering to the journey. Letting go creates freedom and ease in our system. The things we carry are like heavy weights that can drag us down, and letting go will help you feel lighter and more free. But listen to your system. Know when you're ready to take those steps. Letting go before you are ready can be like dumping an anchor that's tied to your waist. You get dragged down with the thing you are trying to release. I'm going to have to say that again. Letting go before you're ready can be like dumping an anchor that's tied to your waist, right? So it's tied to your waist. you get dragged down, you're drowning in the ocean with the thing you are trying to release. And all of those people that are like, oh, go, let go, let go, those goddamn, those darn weird, um, like messages that I was complaining earlier about for those fake woke spiritualists, like, oh, release. They're not there. They're not there when you're buried at the bottom of the ocean to help pick you back up, right? They are not at all prepared to deal with the consequence of what happens when you begin to release what you are not yet ready or prepared to release. Drop an anchor in the chat if that resonated with you, because boy, oh boy, wow, wow, right? Like, I'll continue. Letting go in relation to forgiveness. It is important to be aware of your journey through the grief cycle. Often we are conditioned to believe that we must forgive in order to move on. However, this process will take time and cannot be rushed. By reaching for forgiveness, we can move our power and block ourselves from getting a pain in my neck. So I'm going to have to look that up because that's something new. It's not quite throat chakra, it's just like a pulsating pain on the right side of my neck. However, this process will take time and cannot be rushed. By reaching for forgiveness, we can remove our power and block uh, ourselves from moving forward. Our true emotions and our true emotions are deep in our subconscious, and they are trying to communicate what we need before we can let go. Do you know what you need deep down? So like, your subconscious has so much information and so much thoughts and trauma that it's holding on to that needs to be released and cleared up for you to actually truly let go. Because consciously you can be like, yeah, I'm a block, like, why am I about to say this? I'm a block that insert, I'm a sleep with another person. I'ma just like stop texting them. Like, I'ma just ghost them. I'm just gonna move on. That conscious ego driven practices does not at all tap into the subconscious and release the actual blockages that need to be released for you to properly move through. And at this point, it ain't even letting go. It's like a moving through, right? That's how I see it. Essentially it is letting go, but for me, I resonate more with moving through, moving the fuck on. Some of you are like in a savage energy. I think you're probably mad. Like, I think for those of you that are in that savage energy, I think that is probably your hidden message, is that you are just trying to be like, to hell with this connection. Like, I'm hearing F that, and I can't say it, so that's quite interesting. But there's a lot of anger, um, and so a lot of work is required before you actually truly are in a position to move through and like properly let go. There's a lot in your subconscious that needs to be healed. So I caution you to take a minute and know that this action of F that and block that person and move on for that person is truly not letting go of anything. It's actually that anchor that's going to bring you down into the bottom of the ocean with no one to help you up. Just in case you wanted like you know, a FYI, you may want to continue listening. This card also invites you to loosen your grip on control and resistance. Allow things to play out how they will. You don't need to control the outcome. Let things play out, which is also like a nice little shortcut to kind of like moving through the energy. So like surrendering the need to send that last message or that or block that person. Like, let that person do what they do. Let them show you what they need to show you. Like, just let it play out. This could be for some of those masculines and like karmic connections, or just whatever, honestly. Kind of like let it play out Releasing the control is another great way to balance and your feminine energy. Ask yourself, is it safe to let go? By holding on, are we reducing our risk or preventing something from happening? Perhaps it wasn't safe to let go when you first experienced it. Has anything changed? Remember that adult you has what it takes to look after herself in this moment. So like big inner child healing messages coming through. So look up maybe inner child healing meditations. Ask your higher self or talk to your inner child. Ask her, are you failing her or him? Like, what am I serving you? What is it that you need from me? So some inner child healing work can be useful at this time. Potential blocks for this card letting go comes in two forms. The first is stubbornly holding on to something that has been ready to go for a while. Yeah, so that control, that holding on to those connections that are not serving you, masculines and feminines, like what do we want? You have the opportunity to live this beautiful, magical life, and you know what you felt when you were with your counterpart, but yet you're staying stuck in these connections. Let's figure out why. Are you holding on to an old hurt or belief or person that needs to be let go? Ask yourself if this is serving you anymore. If the answer is no, ask yourself how you can start to let go. The second is the opposite. Many people in spiritual communities, especially, push for letting go and forgiveness, even if the person isn't ready. The places where you are holding on are telling you something. Ask yourself what you need in order to start this healing process and really listen to the answer. Give yourself time if you need it. Ask yourself what you really need in order to feel ready to let go. Not pushing is crucial in letting go. Not pushing is crucial in letting go. Like flow. Ask yourself, what do you need? I was even saying, ask your inner child, like, what do you need? Start with having the conversations with yourself while not trying to control the next action you're going to take with this person that more than likely is no longer serving you. It's like hit the pause button for a second. This exercise is about working with energetic cords that connect us to other people and events that we are still attached to, or that others have attached to us. This can result from anything from a fight to a misunderstanding, a trauma, or anything that feels unresolved. These cords can come from us to attach to others or come from other people and attach to us. When left unprocessed, they can divide our energy and weigh us down. Many people believe in cutting cords, but that can be traumatic on your system, and they often reattach themselves later on. So try to be more gentle and listen to what your system needs instead of forcing it. I'm not sure how much you guys care for my personal experiences. If you don't, if you do, like talk to me in the chat. Cord cutting can be extremely traumatic. I experienced that, and it's not that I don't recommend it, but there are very specific things that I do when it comes to cord cutting. I haven't read the rest of the passage yet. We're going to read it and see if it is actually what I've been doing. So just wanted to mention that. So here's the exercise that the elemental empath is recommending to help us with letting go. Come into a meditative state and think of a person or sometimes a past event that involves unresolved feelings. This could be your attachment to someone or someone's attachment to you. Imagine a cord connecting the two of you and notice who is attaching to who and where on your body is it attached. If it is someone attached to your energy, reconnect with yourself and imagine a bubble around yourself where only your energy is allowed in. Communicate to the cord that this is your space. Gently imagine their cord detaching from you and their energy returning to them. It may take some time for the cord to detach as you focus on reclaiming your space. If it is stuck, repeat the exercise over the next couple of days, focusing on strengthening your connection to your energy. If it persists, you may want to get some support with removing it. You might also have personal attachments to this person or energy. If that's the case, see the next part of the exercise. We'll continue. You could pause the reading, take a break, and come back. But I think we only have like about 5 to 7 minutes left. If the cord is extending from you and attaching to someone else, feel into this person and the situation, engage how you feel about it. Try not to relive memories, as that can reactivate old triggers or traumas. Notice that emotions you feel in your body and sit with them. Are there unresolved feelings? Is a conversation of some kind of action needed? Or are there emotions that you need to or are there emotions that you need to resolve on your own? Maybe there's still a charge around the situation, but you feel ready to let go of your attachment to it. Or perhaps you notice that you are fully ready to let it go. Try to see what comes up without judging or trying to change it. All feelings are valid. If you aren't sure how you feel, then imagine what you can communicate with that cord. Ask if it is ready to let go. Maybe visualize what it would feel like to completely let go of your attachment to this person or situation. For some of you, I'm hearing butterflies and set them free. What does that feel like? Are you ready, or does it bring up unresolved emotions? Listen to your system's response. If it is ready, allow the cord to detach and bring it and your energy back to you. Right? So, like, the cord is detaching from the other person, it's coming back to you. The energy is coming back to you. If it is ready, ask yourself and the cord, what do I need in order to feel safe and ready to let go of this? What needs to happen in order for this to be resolved? This may take some inner work, so be patient with yourself. Always listen to the deeper wise self, as she will guide you through. The cord will release when the time is right. Note that it's okay if you let go of a cord and it later reattaches. If this happens, you can go through the process again. These wounds often have several layers to process. The cords may let go a little at a time, so be patient. So that exercise in itself with cord cutting, it's not even a one time pull from one end and then pull from the other end. Like, no, not if there's still unresolved trauma, not if it's not time. So knowing that cord cutting may can be traumatic when you try to do this like one time abrupt process of just disconnecting the cords, especially if it's with your twin flame connection. That can be extremely more painful. Like, I mean, talk about the anchor um, bringing you down into the bottom of the ocean. I keep saying bottom of the ocean, so I do want to say, like, side note, if you haven't done past life meditations, I do recommend them. If you are interested and you're looking for a really good YouTube link for a past life meditation, let me know in the comment section and I'll send it to you. So cord cutting is a powerful tool in helping you release, but healing, right? So healing what needs to be healed, so the release and the letting go can happen in a way that's safe for you and those around you. So with that personal little tidbit I shared with you guys earlier, like, the abrupt cord cutting was a traumatic experience, and so it worked for me to to imagine myself facing the person and then releasing the attachments, like the negative attachments. So there was like the main cord, but then the main cord, that like our soul connection, but then the other cord surrounding it, like the fears and the guilt and the shame. And I label those cords. And sometimes one effective way is like breaking it in the middle, so not necessarily pulling it out from one end to the other end, but a break in the middle. And then some other effective ways were to remove the negative cords surrounding the soul connection by, yes, removing them from one end and the other end. This book, Elemental Empath, what we just read, recommended a more of a visualization process as you communicate with yourself. Are you ready to release this cord? So like you're visualizing the cord, you're asking yourself, what is it that I need to release this cord? And then you also ask yourself, how will I feel? So it's like you're having that conversation, and then the answers will come to you, and then slowly the cord will eventually like detach itself. And then also putting yourself in a protective bubble, which is so important, especially if you are an empath, doing regular chakra clearing, but then putting yourself in like a purple pyramid or a bubble of some sort is so good at protecting your energy, because as you continue to work on letting go, these cords are still attached to you, and people are still going to continue be sending you their energy. But if you protect yourself, you can like seriously minimize the amount of negative energy that's coming towards you as you take like closer steps, closer steps to being able to fully release that cord. So that's letting go there for the water sign. So if you are a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, that reading could have specifically resonated for you. And yeah, so the hidden message, well, for those of you that are, I'm getting for like the divine feminines, vice versa, again, the energies went back and forth. I was getting a lot of masculine watching for your feminine, a lot of feminine watching for your masculine. But again, as a reminder, take what resonates, switch the roles if needed. But I was definitely getting that like they're masculines that are stuck, in a lot of past trauma, like blockages with their moms, their dads, and partners that they have been trying to let go of, but they've been doing it in a non like not in a good way. Like I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but they've been doing it in a way that's very ego based. And so the hidden message is that they are looking, and they're getting closer, I think, to understanding the true ways of healing, the true practices of spirituality, and not these random 2-minute YouTube videos with weird, great, supposedly great, like background music. And yeah, so they're getting it. They're getting it. The divine guidance is flowing through them, and they are releasing. Wow. So again, thank you for watching Masterful Divine Feminine 333. This was a pick a card, hidden messages in your twin flame connection. If this reading resonated with you, please do like and subscribe. It's important, to continue to have faith and trust in the twin flame connection. Know that the connection is all about self-love. It's a unique and powerful connection. Please definitely feel free to subscribe and and share your comments about your twin flame connection in the comment section. Also, if you wanted to have a personal conversation with me, I do have personal readings available. You are more than welcome to click the link in the description box. So, we're growing the channel together. So, with subscribing, with commenting, we are definitely going to reach the audience that we need to reach and build a community that we are seeking to build here on Masterful Divine Feminine 333. For those masculines that have been watching, I encourage you to continue manifesting and building and creating your beautiful divine feminine energy. You have done a lot of work, especially like 2020 to 2024. You've been doing a lot of work, and you should be proud of yourselves. Divine feminines, you're surrendering more and more to the connection. For those of you that have been on the twin flame connection, typically the feminine awakens more before the masculine. So kudos to you. Keep up the good work. Everyone, keep up the good work. So thank you again for watching, and we will talk soon.